when the government's trying to tell to some of the international companies like TikTok that you have to tell us where the data is, you have to tell us everything about individuals' data so that we can protect their privacy. But the government essentially violates all of those principles that it says that others should follow. It's simple. If there is a rule of law, it equally applies to government and the private sector and to individuals. But the government's essentially saying that everything done by bureaucrats is in good faith. Everything done by the government is in good faith, and we must ignore their attempts. But that's not how a rule of law based society functions.
In terms of policy, of course, a lot of deliberations are put out, but from my little knowledge, it's also in terms of what technology is being used, right? India is not really, most systems are quite opaque. They're not open source. I mean, that's another thing altogether. But they're pretty opaque in the sense that if somebody does want to check vulnerabilities, they will be seen as as an adversarial and not a person who's helping it out.
The Section 66F deals with cyber terrorism. Okay, I mean, it's clearly unsure what is cyber terrorism, like what amounts to cyber terrorism in India now. Then Section 66 is something that I was threatened with when I did my report on Aadhaar, that how Aadhaar data was leaking back in 2017. Yeah, I mean, it's anyone who is essentially pointing out problems is always threatened with legal lawsuits. Thankfully, I wasn't taken to court, like there was no FIR, but I was threatened because I pointed out like 13 crore Aadhaar data was public. So yes, most of the time these systems are not transparent. Like one of the questions that you asked me, right? Like how would you know that the Telangana government has essentially built a digital ID system based on these data from the Election Commission? You won't know unless you're tracking all data sharing across inter-departments, right? Like had I not tracked Aadhaar and voter data linking, I would have never known it was this data that the Telangana government used and how that data sharing happened. And without transparency in terms of data sharing and data collection, you can't protect people from the harms that might happen to it. When the government's trying to tell to some of the international companies like TikTok that you have to tell us where the data is, you have to tell us everything about individuals' data so that we can protect their privacy. But the government essentially violates all of those principles that it says that others should follow. It's simple. If there is a rule of law, it equally applies to government and the private sector and to individuals. But the government's essentially saying that everything done by bureaucrats is in good faith. Everything done by the government is in good faith, and we must ignore their attempts. But that's not how a rule of law based society functions. On many levels, that's the main issue with the National Population Register and the NRC that might follow, right? Like people across the country don't want to be part of the National Population Register because they're afraid they'll lose their citizenship through NRC. But the fact is, the National Population Register data was already used by the Election Commission to delete voters in 2019 elections. What essentially happened in Telangana happened across the country, and it was based on NPR data from 2015.
So there is precedence of it being
misused. It's all in their records, okay? For them, it's a simple act of data sharing. But if you look at the consequences, nobody ties these things. I have a public interest litigation against the Election Commission in the Hyderabad High Court, where I'm demanding the Election Commission to delete all the other data they have collected. Okay? And at the same time, I'm demanding the state government to delete all the voter data they collected. Okay. In this exercise, which was already been struck down by the Supreme Court in 2015.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The reason I'm bringing NPR to it is, at some level, I think that has happened in Telangana. The reason I say it is, back in 2014, right after the formation of Telangana did this grand survey. In a single day, it sent all government officials like teachers on a grand survey called the Intensive Household Survey. Part of the survey, the government collected everyone's information in the state. Everyone's information, which included voter details, income tax details, PAN card, Aadhaar number, 20 such parameters. The problem is, it was emulated in Andhra Pradesh, and all of this data was used by the political party in Andhra Pradesh during the elections of 2019. It's Cambridge Analytica gone in Indian scale, right? Okay, it's happening. These data sharings and collections do affect people unknowingly, and people have no idea what happens, because, and even when this comes out in the public, there are usually no investigations. The investigations are probably launched just because the public is demanding it. Take the case of Cambridge Analytica. The Election Commission has not come out with any report on what happened with Cambridge Analytica in India. The Parliamentary Committee on IT, which is looking into it, has not done anything. In fact, the Parliamentary Committee on IT is still pending out to give reports on net neutrality, on Aadhaar, Cambridge Analytica. I guess there are a bunch of more things that they have to come out with. The point being, all accountability measures at this stage are dead, including the courts, because there are multiple petitions at the court. For example, the petitions related to Aadhaar, which the Supreme Court itself has asked, like the case of Aadhaar data leaks, it's still pending in Delhi High Court. So it's like, when it comes to technology, accountability doesn't exist, and nobody wants it.